Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. Um, this is going to be some training tips for a revolver. And I know there's been some talk about revolvers. Uh, as my training prop, I'm going to use uh, this is my Chiappa Rhino 4-inch barrel 357 Magnum. I love this revolver. And for you safety Nazis out there, the weapon is clear because I'm going to be doing some manipulation. Now, for those of you that have been spending most of your time on auto loaders as semi-automatic pistols, keep in mind that the revolver, the original design intent of the revolver, especially in the 1800s, was referred to as the one-handed gun. The one-handed gun, uh, and that was because your other hand was doing something that was really important. In most cases, driving a wagon or riding a horse, right? There's maybe some other things your hand was doing, but those are the two big ones. So this was the one-handed gun, right? Uh, the two-hand shooting started to come about when there was competition, and the revolver was a close quarter combat weapon, uh, even back then. So you used your pistol to get to your rifle, right? If you think of it that way. But if you saw my other video about training, how often I train and so forth, I have the same regimen with this. Draw from the holster, one shot. Whoever gets first shot on target wins the gunfight. Now, another reason that I have this particular uh, type of weapon, a pistol in 357 Magnum, is this is also my trail gun or my camp gun. I'm not going to call it a bear gun because I only have 6 rounds in this, and depending on the size of the bear, I might need to reload. And reloading a revolver requires practice. Practice. And we'll talk about that in a second. So, the main thing is you need to train with this just like you train with anything else. Now, what you'll find different, this is a double action, by the way. There are some pistols that are single action. That means that you have to cock the hammer in order to shoot it. Double action, you just keep pulling the trigger. And it's more difficult because when you cock the hammer, the trigger weight or how much pressure is usually around 4 pounds. When you're doing double action, I know on this one, the trigger pressure is 12 pounds. So that's 12 pounds every time you pull the trigger, and there's no reset. So you got all the way back. Trust me, when you're doing 80 reps, your trigger finger gets tired, which is the reason that you want to train with your, if you have a double action revolver, you need to train with it because that trigger weight is hard. And you need to be able to maintain that trigger pressure to keep your first round on target. Uh, that is one of the really important reasons for training with your revolver in double action, not single action. If you have a double action pistol, you train with it in double action because that's getting you the experience in keeping your sights on target to get that first round hit, and you're getting used to that. I don't know what it is in some other pistols, but it's probably high. But in this, 12 pounds gets tiresome. And then when you're getting tired, you tend to lose your accuracy. So that's another reason to train for this in double action. And that's with a pistol, with a revolver. Um, this is a close quarter combat tool. That's why you won't see me have any optic on this pistol. Um, if I can't if I can't hit the target at 7 yards just using the iron sights to come with this, then I got other issues. So that's another training thing. You can practice at 7 yards and in. Another good reason for a revolver is that there's the only moving parts of the cylinder, right? So because it's a close quarter combat type weapon, when you're in close quarters, you can put this barrel right up against your enemy or the threat, and you can just keep putting holes in them, and you don't have to worry about the slide sticking or coming out of battery, which is what you have to worry about with a semi-automatic or an autoloader. So that's an advantage in a gunfight in close quarters with a revolver. Now, let's talk about the other part of training, and that's what caliber you're going to train in. I favor 357 Magnum because it's the highest caliber that I can train with. That means I can do an hour's worth of shooting and not go ow at the end of the session. You can't do that with a 44 Magnum or something like that, or certainly not with a Desert Eagle 50 cal. You get 5 rounds and you're done for the day. You know, with a revolver, and especially in this one, 357 Magnum Chiappa Rhino, I can shoot 357 for an hour, right, and not feel pain, with the hand. And when I shoot 38 special in here, it's like shooting 22. That's just the design of the Chiappa Rhino. Um, so that's the reason I use this caliber. Also, it's going to be a threat stopper if the threat is a human at close quarters. It just is, and it'll put them down fairly quickly. Um, Important for a revolver. The higher the caliber, the longer the barrel has to be. This comes in a 3-inch. There's no way I'm going to spend an hour shooting 357 Magnum on a 3-inch gun. I don't care if it's a Ruger. I don't care if it's a Smith & Wesson. I don't care if it's a Chiappa Rhino. Though the sweet spot in shooting the higher caliber, in my case, 357 Magnum, is a 4-inch barrel, right? Now they'll make this in a 5-inch barrel as well, but then I have concealed carry considerations. Okay, so I have shot a 3-inch and even a 2-inch 357 Magnum pistol, and it hurts like a mother. I mean, there's no way I could train with it the way I need to train with it and not come out feeling a lot of pain. So, again, 4-inch barrel, 357 Magnum, 38 Special, shoot it all day long, right? Now, that's in this gun because the way it's designed so that here's the barrel right here. And I'm not trying to pitch the Chiappa Rhino. All I'm just saying is that the design of this gun makes it very easy to shoot because it doesn't. It brings the recoil straight back to your wrist, and it doesn't do this on you, right? Um, so that's the other part of the revolver. Now, some people like the small pocket guns or pocket guns in revolver. They're light, but if you're going to train, if you're going to carry a light mouse gun, then that's the gun you have to train with. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're gonna carry a mouse gun, remember, and it's going to be 2-inch or some 1.5 inch, 22 is probably the largest caliber you're going to want to shoot in that thing. If you're going to practice for some period of time and you're going to put lots of rounds down range, which is what you should do. So those are my tips about a revolver and using a revolver. I have other pistols. You notice this has rail on it down here for a light. I never put a light on a pistol, and the reason for that is because I don't want to be aiming a light at the same time I'm aiming a barrel. So what I use, and I'll do another video on this, is I use a flashlight in my other hand, my support hand, while I'm using this to search, and I'm not using the barrel to search. And that's especially true for home self-defense, because you don't want to put your rounds on somebody, put your barrel on somebody and go, oops, that was my wife or that was my family member or whatever. The other thing, if you're going to use a light for that purpose, in addition to other things, you want the button to be in the back. So you're using your thumb to activate the flashlight. There are some lights out there that have the button on the side. That is very unwieldy. I can't do it. I can't do it. So I need to have it right here, and I need to have the activator in the rear so I can use my thumb when I'm searching. That's a little side thing on doing home defense in general. So that's my story about training with a revolver. Oh, the other thing that you need to do when you're training, I talked about reloading, right? You need to train how you're going to fight. Now you got 6 rounds, maybe 7, maybe 8, depending on the model of gun you have. But you have to be able to quickly reload. What does that mean when you're fighting with a revolver? When you're done, when you're out, you had better be behind cover. You had better be behind cover, because you're going to need some time to drop the slide. I'm not going to actually reload it. Put it in your reloader and get back in the fight. That's going to take a few seconds. You don't want to be standing up. Hold on a sec. I gotta reload. No. So you need, if you're going to be in a gunfight with a revolver, if it's not close quarter, you need to make sure that you have some kind of cover that you're going to get behind. If you're shooting .357 Magnum, 38, unless you're hiding behind a refrigerator or something made out of metal, there is no surface in your home that will protect you from that kind of gunfire, right? If you're hiding behind a sofa, it's going to go through the sofa. It's going to still get you. Forget about all this movie stuff where they pull up a table. It's going to go through the table, right? If you're outside, don't even think about, I'm in my car and therefore I'm safe. I don't care whether that's a pistol or a rifle, whatever. You are not safe from gunfire in your car. You're just not. .357 Magnum, 38 Special will go through the door, get you, and get the person sitting next to you. 9mm, all of them. You are not safe in your car unless you're driving away fast. The only places that you're safe using your car is between the threat and you is your engine block or the rims of your wheels. That's it. Anything else, round's going to come through and get you. If you don't believe me, there's a ton of YouTube training videos out there that will show that. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Those are my training ideas in using the revolver and a couple other subjects. I'd love to hear your thoughts about training and carrying and using a revolver. If you like the content, don't forget, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and as always, wherever you can, whenever you can, however you can, carry on.